Part 14. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 131. Chapter 131. If you don't understand, read it slowly. Yu Lingfeng paused and then said, I read the comics you like. Xia Ying was immersed in her homework. When she heard Yu Lingfeng's words, her face immediately turned red. She raised her head and looked at Yu Lingfeng. Didn't I tell you not to look? Xia Ying was extremely embarrassed. Ahem. Yu Lingfeng was also a little embarrassed. He coughed twice and said, I think it is necessary to explain to you my relationship with 11 Ju. Xia Ying couldn't help but laugh when she saw Yu Lingfeng looking so serious. Haha, did Yu Lingfeng think that Xia Ying would think that he and 11 Ju were having sex? Although she is a rotten girl, she is not that rotten yet. Moreover, Yu Lingfeng is straight at first glance, so how could he possibly have anything to do with 11 Ju? However, 11 Ju seemed to be quite happy with it. Xia Ying then thought about it and thought about it. Yu Lingfeng and 11 Ju were quite a match. The butler and master feel a bit like Black Butler. It's just that the characters of Yu Lingfeng and 11 Ju have been swapped. What are you thinking about, so obsessed? Yu Lingfeng interrupted Xia Ying's thoughts. Nothing. Xia Ying waved her hand quickly. Then let me continue, Yu Lingfeng said. No. Xia Ying interrupted the topic. Yu Lingfeng, I know you are a straight man, why don't you explain so much to me? Unexpectedly, Yu Lingfeng frowned again. What is a straight man? Xia Ying put down her pen and suddenly smiled. Straight men are you just like girls. Yu Lingfeng actually didn't even know what a straight man was. Xia Ying felt like she had discovered a new world. Yu Lingfeng pursed his lips and stared at Xia Ying's eyebrows. Of course he liked girls. Xia Ying worked on the questions for a while, and when she was tired of writing, she held her chin, stared at the beautiful face of Yu Lingfeng, who was still reading a profound book seriously, and sighed, Yu Lingfeng, sometimes I think you are so strange. Ah! As soon as she finished speaking, Xia Ying was afraid that Yu Lingfeng would think wrongly, so she explained, don't get me wrong, I just feel that I can't seem to see through you. If you can't see clearly, just take more time and look slowly. When Yu Lingfeng said this, he kept staring at Xia Ying. Seeing this made Xia Ying's face heat up and she immediately turned her head away. Forget it, I'd better study hard. Xia Ying buried her head and continued reading. Because of the last Taiba incident, the scandal between Xia Ying and Jun Chenai is now getting bigger and bigger on the internet. Some Guangyang students revealed on Jun Chenai's forum and Weibo that Jun Chenai said that Xia Ying was his fiancée last time, which immediately caused Jun Chenai's fans to start a fuss. Mu Niankai threw her phone angrily and said angrily, damn it, Xia Ying is so annoying. Now the whole world knows that she is brother Chen Yi's fiancée. Xia Menjian spoke softly from the side, Sister Nian Qi, you really misunderstood me. I really didn't post that post, it must have been framed by Xia Ying. Look, isn't she just sitting back and enjoying what she has achieved? When I arrived at Jun Chenai, I succeeded in driving a wedge between the two of us. Mu Niankai sneered in her heart, this girl can really talk when she opens her mouth. If Xia Ying hadn't torn off her mask long ago, Mu Niankai would have really believed it. It's a pity that it's too late and she won't believe her nonsense. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 132. Chapter 132, make sure she can't even get out of the door. What you said makes sense, damn, I was actually taken advantage of by Xia Ying. Mu Niankai gritted her teeth and said. Yes, Sister Niankai, I have been helping you from the beginning to the end. You still doubt me, and I haven't helped you with any of the things you said. And I have always been helping you with suggestions. How could I betray you? After Xia Menjian said that, I immediately felt pity for her little face. Muni Ankai felt sick to her stomach. Damn it, has Xiamenjian always been so pretentious? How on earth had she tolerated people like her before? Muni Ankai pretended to be sympathetic and looked at Xiamenjian. I'm sorry, Menjian. It's all my fault that bitch Xia took advantage of me because of my impulsiveness. I also caused you to be so seriously injured. I will never doubt you again. I can give you any compensation you want. No need, Sister Niankai, as long as you believe in me, that's more important than anything else. Mu Niankai felt disgusted and finished the play with Xiamenjian. I must find a way to get bitch Xia out of Guanyang completely. Otherwise, she will not be in my eyes and compete with me for brother Chen Yi. Mu Niankai clenched her fists and said. Sister Niankai, I can help you. Xiamenjian took the initiative and said. Oh, you said. Mu Niankai glanced at her. Sister Nianqi, the school anniversary is coming soon. If Xia Ying makes a fool of herself at the school anniversary, not only will she not be able to survive in Guanyang, I'm afraid it will be difficult for her to even go out in the future. Xiamenjian curled her lips and revealed a sinister smile. Mu Niankai frowned, make a fool of yourself? How to make a fool of yourself? What kind of foolhardy? Senior Hanzija is going to perform a magic show at the school anniversary. I can collude with him and conjure up a naked Xia Ying. At that time, she will definitely make the headlines in the media, and Xia Ying will never be able to leave the house from now on. After hearing what Xiamenjian said, Mu Niankai felt that it was no wonder that this girl had no ink in her belly and was full of bad water. Can she even come up with such an insidious idea? After all, Xia Ying is her biological sister, right? Really cruel. She was so cruel that even Mu Niankai, who was always famous for her ruthlessness, couldn't help but give her a thumbs up. Mu Niankai usually liked to play tricks of slapping little girls and gang fights. She never used such dirty tricks. The things she used to deal with Xia Ying were all things Xiamenjian came up with for her. This woman is really scary. Isn't Hanzija Xia Ying's ex-boyfriend? Are you sure he is willing to help? Mu Niankai expressed doubts. Of course, Sister Niankai, just wait and see. Although this method is a bit insidious, it works. Once and for all, Jun Chennai I will definitely be yours. Xia Ying will not be qualified to compete with you in the future. Xiamenjian continued. The video of Xia Ying setting her up last time and making her change clothes went viral on the internet. It took Xiamenjian a long time to get out of this shadow. This time, she must bring down Xia Ying once and for all. The video of her changing clothes at least still has underwear, so it's not too embarrassing. As for Xia Ying, she wants her to appear naked in front of the public and completely ruin her image. Mu Niankai secretly felt that Xia Ying was really pitiful. Her ex-boyfriend and her sister had teamed up to frame her, and she didn't know anything yet. Thinking about it, I had made trouble for Xia Ying in various ways before. Thinking about it this way, Xia Ying's life was really not easy before. Thanks to the little cutie and understanding for the reward. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 133. Chapter 133 White Lotus is so cruel. Then what should I do? Mu Niankai asked again. Sister Nianqi, just find a few people to take off Xia Ying's clothes with me. Then we will put Xia Ying into Hanzija's magic box. Just treat it as a performance accident, and at that time Xia Ying I definitely won't be able to act in the next stage play. Sister Nianqi, you can be the heroine again, killing two birds with one stone, why not do it? Mu Niankai had always been sure that she would be chosen as the heroine, and she even knew her lines by heart. As a result, it turned out to be Xia Ying, and now she can only be ranked second among the female lead. Mu Niankai nodded, turned her face away, and lip-talked to Sun Han on the other side. White Lotus is so cruel. After school, Mu Niankai and Xia Ying made an appointment to meet at a place, and told Xia Ying exactly what Xia Menjian told her. Xia Ying took a sip of her drink, her eyes darkened. Xia Menjian was indeed Xia Menjian. How could she come up with such an insidious idea? At that time, not only was Xia Ying's reputation ruined, but the school's anniversary was also ruined by her. Not only could she not stay in Guanyang anymore, it was really difficult to even go out. And the scandal between her and Jun Chennai is so intense now. If something like this happens, she will definitely be spurned to death by Jun Chennai's fans. This is exactly the same as what happened when Xia Ying was popular in her last life, and when she became the national goddess, Xia Menjian caused her photos to be spread all over the internet. Xia Menjian is trying to push her to death. Humph, Xia Ying sneered. Can you still laugh? Mu Niankai was puzzled. They have already prepared the criminal law for you, just waiting for you to jump in, and you haven't figured out how to deal with it yet. Xia Ying sneered and raised her eyes to look at Mu Niankai. This is not simple. At worst, we have a civet cat exchange for the prince. Xia Menjian must have racked her brains to come up with such an insidious idea. If I didn't use it, isn't it just a waste of someone's kindness? Then let Xia Menjian have a taste of how powerful her criminal method is. Mu Niankai was confused after hearing this, and asked, you mean, we strip Xia Menjian naked and put her in a box? Xia Ying chuckled, you finally have your brain figured out. But where is Hanzija? Don't worry, leave it to me, just keep it hidden from Xia Menjian, and also help Xia Menjian take off her clothes. Xia Ying said slowly. When the time comes, Xia Menjian will naturally roll out of the sun smoothly. As for how Xiao Yanhong forced her out, Xia Ying naturally had other methods. I can't tell, it turns out you are so powerful too. Mu Niankai couldn't help but admired. Compared with Xia Menjian, Xia Ying's methods are not much worse. Xia Ying sneered. She was framed by the White Lotus many times in her previous life, so she naturally knew some tricks. Besides, she's not stupid, so how can she talk about benevolence, justice, and morality at this time? Xia Menjian has never treated her as a sister, so why should she treat her with pity? It is false to say that blood is thicker than water. In Xia Menjian's heart, Xia Ying and Luo Xian are just obstacles that prevent their mother and daughter from taking over the Xia family. Hey, by the way, since you already have a boyfriend, can't you clarify the scandal with brother Chennai? I feel very uncomfortable. Mu Niankai changed the topic and said. Xia Ying rolled her eyes. Why didn't she clarify? She gets angry when she talks about this. Thanks to the little cutie Aikungzi's 1,000 paper cranes for the reward. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 134. Chapter 134. Yu Lingfeng is sick. Why didn't I clarify it? I've clarified it on Taiba and Weibo. But look at what your brother Chennai did. Half an hour ago, Jun Chennai defended his wife and angrily criticized anti-fans, which has become a hot search. Now it's trending. Still on the hot search list. Xia Ying raised her head and said helplessly, how do I know what this little ancestor is thinking? Jun Chennai criticized the anti-fans. What kind of ability does it mean to antagonize her? Do you have the ability to hack me? Xia Ying clarified while Jun Chennai added fuel to the fire. Netizens were tired of watching the show. At this moment, Yu Lingfeng was sitting on the sofa, reading this Weibo reply, and then recalled the hostile look Jun Chennai gave him when he saw Jun Chennai that day. 11 Ju on the side was trembling and did not dare to speak. According to his observation ability, the master was angry. The consequences are very serious, so it is better not to say anything, lest the master becomes angry and use him to do experiments again. Yu Lingfeng put down the phone slowly, and Zihu was surprised to find, why is the phone screen black and smoking? After 11 Ju figured out why, his legs suddenly became weak and he prepared to sneak away. Yu Lingfeng called 11 Ju coldly. 11 Ju paused and his legs went weak for a moment. If he could sweat, his back must be soaked. Zihu said weakly, Master, what's the matter? Call Xia Ying and tell her I'm sick. Yu Lingfeng stood up and prepared to walk to his bedroom. Zihu frowned in confusion, but master, aren't you immune to illness? As soon as 11 Ju finished speaking, Yu Lingfeng paused. The air suddenly turned cold for a moment. 11 Ju immediately reacted, I'll fight right away. So a certain sick person went to the bedroom, preparing all disguises. 11 Ju dialed Xia Ying's number and adjusted his tone. After the other end of the phone answered the call, 11 Ju said, Xia Ying, my master is sick. He refuses to take medicine no matter what, and now he's here again. He refuses to come out of the bedroom. Could you please come over and persuade him, maybe he will listen to you. Xia Ying was stunned for a moment. Is Yu Lingfeng sick? Still unwilling to take medicine? Why are you like a child? Is he serious? Xia Ying asked. It looks like it's quite serious. Then do you want me to bring a doctor over? Xia Ying asked again. No, it doesn't seem to be serious. 11 Ju quickly changed his words, take some medicine and rest for a while. It should be fine. It's the master, he is afraid of hardship. He refuses to take medicine. West Ju made a nonsense statement. His master was so crazy that he actually encouraged a robot to lie. He can learn bad things easily, okay. Xia Ying smiled. Yu Lingfeng was afraid of pain and refused to take medicine? Why are you so childish? Okay, I'll be there right away. Xia Ying hung up the phone. Mu Niankai on the opposite side looked confused when she heard this. Xia Ying looked worried at first, but then she actually smiled again. What was going on? Whose phone number is it? Mu Niankai asked as she stirred the coffee. Xia Ying stood up and said, a friend, he has something to do, and I have to go over. If anything happens, we will contact you again. Remember not to let Xia Menjian see it. Xia Ying is really worried about Mu Niankai's brains and acting skills. If Mu Niankai reveals her secret before the school anniversary party, she will be blind. Don't worry, I'm not that stupid. Mu Niankai said. Xia Ying curled her lips, I hope. Thanks to the little cutie Aikingzi's 1,000 paper cranes for the reward. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 135. Chapter 135. You should get more sun. Xia Ying thought on the way there that since Yu Lingfeng was sick, she should stay and take care of him. Anyway, the midterm exam was over, the school had a break in the afternoon, and the teachers were correcting the papers, so Xia Ying had time. Moreover, Yu Lingfeng had always been so kind to her, and she never had a chance to repay him. This time, let's just regard it as her small repayment. Xia Ying arrived at Yu Lingfeng's castle and was about to knock on the door when 11 Ju opened the door first. Sakura, here you are, the master is in the bedroom, I will take you there. Zihu spoke first. Xia Ying nodded and followed behind 11 Ju. Zihu, does Yu Lingfeng have a fever or a cold? Xia Ying asked. Cold. 11 Ju blurted out. Where is the medicine? I'll take it directly to Yu Lingfeng. Xia Ying said. I've prepared it for you. 11 Ju said, then walked to the coffee table and handed a cup of warm water and a packet of medicine to Xia Ying. Okay. Xia Ying took the medicine and water, and then followed 11 Ju towards Yu Lingfeng's bedroom. Yu Lingfeng's bedroom door is still dark in color, giving it a mysterious look. Yu Lingfeng seemed to particularly prefer black. The outside of the castle was black, the bedroom door was black, and even the clothes he usually wore were black. Then I'll leave first. After Zihu completed his mission, he was ready to retreat. Good. Xia Ying nodded and started knocking on the door. She only knocked once, and Yu Lingfeng opened the door. Xia Ying's hand hung in the air, stunned, and then looked up at the tall and handsome man in front of her. There are no lights in Yu Lingfeng's bedroom, so Yu Lingfeng is standing in a dark background at the moment. His expression was cold and solemn, but when his eyes fell on Xia Ying, there was a moment of warmth. Xia Ying opened her mouth and said, "Well, Yu Lingfeng, I heard from 11 Ju that you are sick." Yu Lingfeng frowned. "It's just a minor illness, and he actually called you." Yu Lingfeng looked unhappy. Xia Ying waved her hand. "Don't blame 11 Ju, he is also worried about you. Besides, I don't have any classes in the afternoon, so it's nothing." Hearing that Xia Ying had no classes in the afternoon, Yu Lingfeng raised her eyebrows slightly. "Yu Lingfeng, are you okay?" Xia Ying asked cautiously. Yu Lingfeng nodded. "Come in." Yu Lingfeng turned around and entered the bedroom, and Xia Ying followed him silently. Although it was daytime, the light in Yu Lingfeng's bedroom was very dark and the curtains were not opened, making it look like night. Xia Ying's steps were very small. She was afraid of the dark, but she couldn't say it directly. Yu Lingfeng looked sideways and saw something strange about Xia Ying behind him, and then he remembered something. Yu Lingfeng walked to the window and opened the curtains. The bright sunshine immediately shined in, and the golden light shone on Yu Lingfeng's fair face. Yu Lingfeng stood in front of the dazzling beam of light, as if he were a god, and he was unparalleled in beauty. Xia Ying hesitated for a moment and was stunned. "What's wrong?" Yu Lingfeng frowned and looked at Xia Ying, who was stunned. "No, nothing." Xia Ying regained her composure and walked forward. Xia Ying Yu Lingfeng's floor-length curtains and said while doing so, "Yu Lingfeng, you are sick to begin with. You should get more Sunday." Yu Lingfeng responded softly from behind, looking directly at Xia Ying's movements. He hoped to keep looking at her like this. She was right in front of him, he could see it as soon as he raised his eyes. Thanks to the little cuties Tong Guang and silly, Gua, innocent. If you are well, then it's okay, heart is as still as water, shake the broken shadows, thousand paper cranes of love Kingzi, Len Luo are some rewards. I recently saw a joke. It's Chinese New Year. Author, now I can finally have a good rest. Reader, it's time for an update now. Ha 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 ha, more updates will be added if the recommended votes are over 3,500 before midnight. Those who still have votes in their hands, please vote. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 136. Chapter 136. You are severely anemic. Xia Ying turned around, approached Yu Lingfeng, stretched out her hand, and covered Yu Lingfeng's forehead. Yu Lingfeng looked down and met Xia Ying's gaze. When Yu Lingfeng looked at her like this, Xia Ying's eyes suddenly became panicked, and her heart moved for a moment. God, how could she be so infatuated with Yu Lingfeng? Calm down, calm down. Xia Ying put down her hand and frowned. It's strange, Yu Lingfeng, your body temperature is so low. Yu Lingfeng's face darkened and he said nothing. Xia Ying frowned and thought for a moment, is it because she has a low fever? Xia Ying recalled her previous contact with Yu Lingfeng. Yu Lingfeng's body temperature was also much lower than that of normal people. Yu Lingfeng was non-committal. Xia Ying muttered, it's low fever and anemia, that's why your body temperature is so low. Xia Ying then raised her head and looked at Yu Lingfeng. Yu Lingfeng, you must drink the medicine. Also, I asked 11 Ju to prepare some blood supplement for you. Your anemia is very serious. You need to take a supplement repair. Yu Lingfeng nodded. I'll make some medicine for you. Xia Ying turned around, prepared the medicine, and gave it to Yu Lingfeng. Yu Lingfeng, drink the medicine. You can't do it just because it's bitter. Before Xia Ying finished speaking, Yu Lingfeng took the medicine from Xia Ying's hand and drank it in one breath. Then he put the empty cup aside, looked at Xia Ying expressionlessly, and listened to her next words. Xia Ying was surprised. Didn't she say she was afraid of hardship? Why did he finish the drink so obediently without any resistance or rejection? Xia Ying curled her lips and said nothing. She reached out and fumbled for something in her pocket. Then he took out a grapefruit-flavored candy and said, "Hand out." Yu Lingfeng obediently stretched out her hand, and Xia Ying placed the candy on Yu Lingfeng's hand. Yu Lingfeng stared at the candy and wondered, what is this for? Aren't you afraid of bitterness? Eating sweets won't make you bitter. Xia Ying's eyes were extremely sincere. Yu Lingfeng frowned, reluctantly peeled off the candy wrapper, put it in his mouth, and swallowed it with a tangled expression on his face, as if he were taking medicine. Xia Ying was puzzled. Can sugar be bitter? It's not bitter, Yu Lingfeng said, I just don't like sweet food. Ah! Xia Ying has been knocked unconscious. Is Yu Lingfeng afraid of both bitterness and sweetness? Yu Lingfeng recalled Xia Ying's series of actions and seemed to think of something. Asked her, 11 Ju told you that I like to eat sweets. No, 11 Ju told me that you were afraid of suffering and refused to take medicine. Yu Lingfeng's face was covered with black lines. This guy has no other reason? Make him a 3-year-old? It seems that his brain is indeed not perfect yet and needs to be reformed. What's wrong? Xia Ying asked when she saw Yu Lingfeng's expression darkened. Nothing. Then go and rest. If you are sick, take more rest. Xia Ying said. Yu Lingfeng nodded. Yu Lingfeng lay on the bed obediently, and Xia Ying covered him with the quilt. Then you have a good rest, I'm going out first. Xia Ying said sweetly, then turned around and prepared to leave. The moment he turned around, Yu Lingfeng suddenly grabbed Xia Ying's arm and pulled her back. Xia Ying stumbled and fell directly on Yu Lingfeng's bed, falling in front of Yu Lingfeng's chest. Stay with me. From the top of my head came 2 simple and concise words, which could not be refuted. Xia Ying was startled after hearing this. Thank you, little cutie. Pull. Yeah. Head. More rewards. Also grateful to Red Sleeve Book Friends 1512 for the flowers. Xiao, Yu Lingfeng, readers say that you are an actor? Yu Lingfeng, well, after all, my wife is a movie queen, so I can't be embarrassed. Xia Ying drifted away silently without explaining. There will be another chapter updated later. High sugar. International practice, hand in recommendation votes first and then eat candy. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 137. Chapter 137. Your people and heart can only belong to me. Recommendation votes will be added. What? Xia Ying was stunned for a moment, then quickly stood up and looked at Yu Lingfeng with a blank look on her face. I can't sleep, talk to me. Yu Lingfeng said. Oh fine. Xia Ying sat beside Yu Lingfeng's bed. Yu Lingfeng really looked like a child. What you want to say? Xia Ying asked. Tell me about your recent events. Yu Lingfeng looked calm. Recent things. Xia Ying tilted her head and thought for a while. There seems to be nothing to say, it's all quite normal. You and Jun Chennai. Xia Ying paused and looked at Yu Lingfeng in surprise. What do you mean? Are you and Jun Chennai together? No. Xia Ying shook her head. Have you read the messy news and hype posted by the media on the internet? It's all fake, don't believe it. I read your Weibo and Jun Chennai's reply. Yu Lingfeng calmed down and tried to act as normal as possible. Xia Ying was ashamed. I don't know what that guy was thinking. It's impossible for me and him. We quarreled as soon as we met. But he likes you. He. Xia Ying originally wanted to say something, but was interrupted by Yu Lingfeng's words. How is it possible? Don't make blind guesses. Yu Lingfeng took a deep breath and continued, you said that I am your boyfriend. Xia Ying was stunned and looked at Yu Lingfeng with wide eyes. You are responsible for what you say. Yu Lingfeng said without blushing or heartbeat. Xia Ying's face heats up. Well, she just told a lie last time, how could she be relied upon by Yu Lingfeng like this? Didn't I say that I was a liar? Xia Ying's voice became lower and lower, her head lowered lower and lower, not daring to look at Yu Lingfeng. But I take it seriously. Xia Ying stammered and didn't know how to answer. It's so embarrassing, how is she going to respond? You do not like me. Yu Lingfeng frowned and asked very seriously, not as if he was joking. I like it, but it's not the kind of like you said. Xia Ying explained awkwardly. Yu Lingfeng's expression turned cold instantly, and the temperature of the room suddenly dropped several degrees. Xia Ying even shuddered, and Yu Lingfeng seemed angry. Yu Lingfeng, that. Give me your hand. Yu Lingfeng interrupted Xia Ying's words in a cold voice, sat up and stared at Xia Ying. Xia Ying weakly stretched out her hand. Before Xia Ying could react, Yu Lingfeng grabbed her wrist and pulled her down directly onto Yu Lingfeng's bed. Yu Lingfeng immediately turned over and pressed Xia Ying down. Underneath. Xia Ying was shocked, staring at Yu Lingfeng's handsome face just a few feet away with her eyes wide open, gradually approaching her. Xia Ying closed her eyes suddenly and panicked, Yu Lingfeng, don't be like this. You don't like me, why are you blushing? Yu Lingfeng's bewitching voice sounded in Xia Ying's ears. Xia Ying felt the temperature on her face gradually rising, and her face was so red that it could bleed. Why is she blushing? Everyone would blush. Open your eyes and look at me. Yu Lingfeng's voice is gentle and deep, charming. She doesn't want such an awkward posture. Yu Lingfeng, please let. Yu Lingfeng leaned over and captured her small mouth. Xia Ying opened her eyes suddenly, met Yu Lingfeng's charming eyes, and quickly closed them again. Yu Lingfeng was too strong and she couldn't get away at all. I don't know how long we kissed. Yu Lingfeng leaned next to Xia Ying's ear and muttered, I will make you fall in love with me. You are not allowed to have an affair with others. Your person and your heart can only belong to me. Xia Ying, author, tell me, have you agreed that this is a cold and ascetic male protagonist? Throwing something, I want to stop the show, I won't cry if I don't play like this. Yu Lingfeng, be good, reaching out to hold Xia Ying in his arms, you are cold towards others. As for abstinence, do you want to try it again? Xiao covered her face and ran away. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 138. Chapter 138 The Origin of Zihu's Name. Xia Ying opened her eyes and looked at Yu Lingfeng in surprise, not knowing what to say in reply. In her mind, Yu Lingfeng had always been a cold and ascetic 1,000-year-old iceberg. Who would have thought that there was actually strong and fiery magma hidden under this iceberg? Yu Lingfeng let go of Xia Ying and got out of bed. Get up and go get something to eat. Xia Ying followed Yu Lingfeng out of the bedroom door. Yu Lingfeng. Xia Ying called Yu Lingfeng's name. Yu Lingfeng responded. Don't you think you are a bit domineering? Xia Ying's voice became lower and lower. Her person and heart could only belong to him. Has Yu Lingfeng read too many comics? Why is he becoming more and more like the protagonist in the comics? Yu Lingfeng turned around and looked at her. So. You shouldn't force me so much, I have my own choice. Xia Ying's voice was very soft. For example. Yu Lingfeng raised his eyebrows, showing displeasure. How does she know? For example, is she talking about what if she meets Mr. Right in the future? Isn't it too domineering for Yu Lingfeng to act like this and not allow her to be with others? It seems there is none. After a 3-second pause, Yu Lingfeng spoke. Xia Ying was speechless, it's just not available at the moment. It won't happen in the future either. Yu Lingfeng turned around and continued walking with a firm expression. What if there is? I won't let this happen. Yu Lingfeng spoke firmly. Now she really had nothing to say. When Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng came to the living room, 11 Ju was watching a Korean drama with runny nose and tears. Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng froze. Is this still a robot? Xia Ying was shocked, so emotional? Still crying? Also, you actually like watching Korean dramas? Yu Lingfeng, I think 11 Ju must be a girl at heart. Xia Ying twitched the corner of her mouth. Who among boys would like to read Danmei comics, watch Korean dramas, and cry while watching them? Moreover, from the looks of it, it is still a family ethics drama, with all kinds of trivial matters such as the family feud, the relationship between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, etc. Yu Lingfeng held her forehead, her face covered with black lines. I will find time to change it. Hearing the word reform, 11 Ju's body suddenly froze and he quickly turned to look at Yu Lingfeng. Master, don't reform me, I don't want to be reformed. Then you should learn to be masculine. Yu Lingfeng was helpless. Let's make some snacks first. Xia Ying is hilarious, learn to be masculine and just make snacks. Yu Lingfeng looked back at Xia Ying. What are you laughing at? It's nothing, I just feel that 11 Ju is so pitiful. Xia Ying said while smiling. Fine. Yu Lingfeng continued, crying like he did just now consumes too much energy. It's better to do something else. Yu Lingfeng, you can definitely create another maid robot. This way, 11 Ju will feel more relaxed. Xia Ying said. Hearing the words maid robot, Ziyu's eyes suddenly lit up. Yu Lingfeng shook his head, it is not that simple to make a super simulation robot. At the same time as 11 Ju, there were also Dongju, Nanju, and Beiju, and they were all unsuccessful. Only 11 Ju was the most successful. It's in line with human settings. Although there are still some minor flaws, it's not a big problem and I will improve it. Xia Ying opened her mouth, a little surprised. It turns out that this is how 11 Ju got her name. Thanks to the little cutie Leng Lu, cat eyes see the world fish, are you stupid, Gui's reward. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 139. Chapter 139, Outstanding Beauty. The school anniversary party is coming soon, and Xia Ying has been practicing piano in the past few days. For the opening song at the school anniversary, she planned to disguise as a thornbird and sing while playing it. The midterm exam score rankings have not been announced yet. The school probably plans to announce them after the school anniversary in order to consider the students' feelings. During this period, everyone is asked to relax and not be stressed. On the day of the school anniversary party, everyone put on exquisite makeup and costumes to prepare for the upcoming show. The character played by Mu Niankai is also a princess, so the costumes are particularly beautiful. As soon as she appeared, the actors backstage were amazed. Wow, Sister Niankai, you are so beautiful, You are simply the most beautiful girl in the world. Sun Han's flattery is still the loudest. Mu Niankai is a person who likes to hear flattery. When Sun Han said this, she immediately felt happy. Mu Niankai enjoyed the feeling of being surrounded by a group of people and constantly praising her. At that moment, she was truly satisfied. Jun Chennai was sitting in a quiet corner, contemplating his recently thought-out album. He must win this year's Singer Award. Even with the Thornbird as a powerful enemy, he still didn't want to admit defeat. He, Jun Chennai, has never lost anything since he was a child, and this time is no exception. Wow, Goddess Ya Ying is here. The goddess couldn't be more stunning. It's incredible, I'm going to fall in love with her as a girl. Jun Chennai looked at the noise of the crowd and saw that the group of people surrounding Mu Niankai immediately dispersed. His eyes were uniformly cast on Xia Ying. Xia Ying is dressed in an exquisite red princess dress from the Central European century, which makes her slim and graceful figure look very graceful. Although Xia Ying usually wears this dress during rehearsals, today Xia Ying's makeup is exquisite and she wears a special wig. She is as beautiful as the most eye-catching Barbie doll displayed in the window. She is truly flawless and beautiful. Xia Ying raised her neck. Her smooth and graceful necklines made people envious. She looked like an aloof white swan in the sky lake. Holding up her skirt, she walked towards the crowd. Jun Chennai curled his lips and smiled softly, a smile that charmed all living beings. Jun Chennai was sitting in the corner. Although there were managers and assistants beside him, he had been secretly photographed n times by the little fans. Jun Chennai today is particularly handsome and outstanding. The students vaguely felt that Jun Chennai and Xia Ying were like a perfect couple. They were indeed the male and female protagonists chosen by votes, and they were indeed the right pair. Xia Ying lowered her eyes, avoiding people's eyes, and walked to a deserted corner, secretly thinking about how to deal with Xia Menjian later. Sister Nian Qi, I still think you are prettier than Xia Ying. Xia Menjian said with a smile. Mu Niankai twitched the corners of her mouth and smiled bitterly. Although she was very reluctant to admit it, Xia Ying was indeed prettier and more stunning than her. After all, Xia Ying's mother was once the richest daughter in the imperial capital, and she was famous for her beauty. Xia Ying, on the other hand, inherited her mother's beauty and became even more outstanding. Compared with her, Mu Niankai indeed pales in comparison. By the way, Menjian, when do you plan to implement your plan? Mu Niankai returned to the topic. Not long after the show starts, everyone backstage is busy and no one notices what others are doing. Xia Menjian said. Thanks to the little cutie Starry Sky for the reward. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 140. Chapter 140. This young master will not let you get hurt. Good. Xia Menjian nodded and lowered her head thoughtfully. Xia Ying suddenly remembered that Yu Lingfeng said that he was coming too, and she didn't know if he was coming. Xia Ying held up her skirt and walked silently to the stairs of the stage. She opened a small corner from under the long curtain and looked at the audience. Since no one had arrived yet, Xia Ying looked around but did not see Yu Lingfeng. Ye Xiaoxun was sitting in the third row. She saw Xia Ying in the corner and quickly stood up and waved to her. Xia Ying also saw her, waved her hand, and returned a sweet smile. Ye Xiaoxun still has a cute short mushroom head and black-rimmed glasses, but today she specially tied her hair into 2 braids, making her look very playful and cute. Sakura, come on, I'm optimistic about you. Ye Xiaoxun used lip language and gestures to express his support for Xia Ying. Thanks. Xia Ying smiled, then lowered the curtain and prepared to retreat to the back of the stage. As soon as Xia Ying turned around, she ran into Jun Chennai who had been standing behind her for who knows how long. Jun Chennai was already unparalleled in appearance, and he even wore strong stage makeup today. Other boys would give people a girly look when they put on stage makeup, but Jun Chennai was different. His movements were still very alluring. The media all said that Jun Chennai was a born idol, and it turned out to be true. Is there a problem? Xia Ying frowned and looked at Jun Chennai. Jun Chennai seemed unhappy and looked at Xia Ying with a straight face. Has wrong Ci gone to find you behind my back? Yes, what's wrong? Xia Ying is puzzled. Damn, it's true. Jun Chennai suddenly cursed. Jun Chennai seemed to have said before that he would come and talk to her if anything happened. Xia Ying was also surprised when Rong Ci called her that day. But, doesn't Jun Chennai know? Don't go out if I let you go. Jun Chennai said this without any reason. Why? She still owes Rong Ci a meal. Jun Chennai looked up at Xia Ying angrily, because he has no good intentions. Jun Chennai said this, Xia Ying became even more confused. Jun Chennai and his brother-in-law had a falling out? Can you explain it clearly? You and Rong Ci had a falling out? Xia Ying asked tentatively. Jun Chennai's face darkened. No, why are you asking so many questions? Anyway, you heard me right. Xia Ying raised her eyebrows helplessly. I listened to you, why should I listen to you? Have you fooled me enough? Jun Chennai sneezed involuntarily and muttered, who scolded me? Hey, Master Jun, can you stop joking around and clarify the scandals on Weibo? Xia Ying returned to the topic. Jun Chennai's face darkened again. I'm obviously helping you. Help. This method is quite special. This is obviously pushing her into a pit of fire, right? Jun Chennai, doesn't he know how popular he is? His fans won't let him go if there is any slight disturbance. Xia Ying really said that he can't afford to offend him. They will eventually accept it, and don't worry, I won't let you get hurt. Jun Chennai behaves in a righteous way. Xia Ying chuckled coldly, what should I accept? Jun Chennai seemed not to understand what she said. Although he is a star-studded star in the entertainment industry, Jun Chennai is too simple and average at heart. Okay. Does he think he is helping her by defending her? What's more, the way he maintains her is quite inexplicable. His behavior will only make Xia Ying get sprayed by his fans. Thank you little cutie just for your smile and starry sky for your reward. You Lingfeng, Jun Chennai, do you dare to read the title again? Jun Chennai, why don't you dare? This young master will not. Before Jun Chennai finished speaking, Yu Lingfeng raised his hand indifferently, closed the door, let Zihu go. End of this chapter.